What about Deontay Wilder?
Well, Deontay's fighting in October. He's coming back, and they're talking about him fighting Hammer.
Do you mean Helenuis?
I'm sorry, I do apologise. Finnish guy, yeah. That's who he is.
Okay.
In a recent interview with Talk Sports, Frank Warren says Wilder will be back in the ring in October against the Scandinavian Robert Helenuis, who's coming off a big win to some people against Kamanaki. I called that a while ago. If Wilder was choosing to come back to boxing, the ideal opponent for him to come back to was Robert Helenuis. Now, I usually don't believe stuff like that, but it's not coming from one of these narrative-based YouTube channels. It's coming from Frank Warren, who's a promoter. He does this for a living, so he's got more credibility than some random guy on YouTube trying to make bucks with a narrative. Now, I can hear the build-up now. Deontay Wilder's in there with a dangerous opponent. Robert Helenuis got dynamite punching power, and he's a good boxer. He's one of the top 10 heavyweights in the division. And then Deontay Wilder goes out there and stretches him out, smashes him. Then they're going to say, oh, well, the Bronze Bomber's back. Watch out, heavyweight division. He took on all comers. He'll knock out Anthony Joshua. He'll knock out Usyk. You see what he did to Robert Helenuis? And before all this happens, Robert Helenuis has been knocked out 2 times. He has 3 losses, and he's 38 years old. Now, this fight could go 2 ways. If Deontay Wilder is the dude that these people say is the second best heavyweight in the division, he should get rid of Robert Helenuis within 3 or 4 rounds. My opinion. If Wilder loses this fight, or even worse, gets stopped or knocked out in this fight, that will be confirmation to me that Tyson Fury physically and mentally ended Wilder's career. Let me change that to 6 or 7 rounds for Wilder to knock out Helenuis because he's been out of the ring for a while.
They say, Floyd, and if somebody ever come and say, Floyd, you was never an undisputed champion, I say, I know I was an undisputed champion. I was something that was better than undisputed champion. I had 3 belts at one weight class and 2 at another. So a lot of times when the writers write, oh, Floyd was never undisputed champion, I tell them, guess what? Remember this. I had the WBC and the WBA at welterweight, and then I beat Pacquiao for the WBO. And don't forget, I had just before that, I had Canelo for the WBC and the WBA junior middleweight. So remember, I had 5 belts at once. So I still do record-breaking shit.
There's a few fighters that undisputed does not mean anything to. One of those fighters happened to be Floyd Mayweather. Another one's Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao was never interested going for undisputed. And Tyson Fury has made it clear, I'm out for the bag. Undisputed doesn't mean anything to me. I had all the versions of a heavyweight belt. And anytime someone brings up undisputed towards Mayweather, he always has 2 aces up his sleeve. Because he beat Manny Pacquiao and he beat Canelo. Regardless of what the circumstances are, do I think Manny Pacquiao was injured going into the fight? He probably was, but he still got in the ring and collected $100 million. Was Canelo green when he fought Mayweather? Of course, but they still fought, right? And that's why I think Canelo takes the Bivol loss more personal than the Mayweather fight, because he knew he wasn't ready. Even though he was 100% in that fight, Mayweather was just a better fighter at this time. And he's an all-time great. And Mayweather is very smart when it comes to rematches. He knows who to rematch and who not. He didn't give Pacquiao a rematch, and he's definitely not giving Canelo a rematch. But let it be Madonna or Castillo. Until Mayweather dies or he gets laryngitis or can't talk anymore, he will remind us every week that he beat Canelo and Pacquiao. He's 50-0 and he's rich. Leave your thoughts and comments below. Jay Beezy, I'm gone.